Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here. I just wanted to take a moment to get you all arrived here. You might be watching it later, but welcome. Thank you. Thank you for all the comments. You've been sending some questions. I will answer them as well. But today I have a special guest here, which is our coach. Andrea is here with me. Welcome, Andrea. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and today we're going to have a conversation that's going to be. I think everybody feels this, right? What do you think, Andrea? What we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody feels this.
Yes, like
Yeah.
people are just so anxious, right?
The
They're
weight of the
saying that they
world.
can. Yeah.
Yep. Anxiety, nervous system,
Yes,
um,
a lot of people are like, I
burnout,
can't focus,
overwhelm.
right?
Yep.
I can't focus.
Yep. Lack of motivation at times.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what is really happening? That's what we want to talk about. And a lot of time, we just think that we're distracted. We are, of course, but that's what most of our excuses go to, right? I'm just so distracted, or I'm lazy. I'm just not disciplined enough, right? So those are some of the things we resort to, and we always also tell our kids the same thing, or our students. We think in a similar way, right? But there's more to this, right, Andrea?
There's a lot more to this. That
Yeah.
is absolutely correct. Yeah.
Perfect.
We've got a
So
lot of systems involved in this process.
yeah. So before we get started, let's bring ourselves here and now. So how many times were you thinking about the past today, Coach Andrea?
I actually didn't think about the past today,
Perfect. But I did.
Kayla.
I did.
I actually didn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't. I did not think about the past today. That's
Yes.
not always the case, though.
Yes. I went to volunteer. Volunteer on Fridays now with the Cabo kids at the kitchen, where they serve lunch or breakfast. Been doing that since I moved to Cabo here. So I was doing that, and then I just realized, like, I just went back to my childhood, how I was, and how I was during the war, and how we would, just seeing them reminded me of my life,
Yeah.
and when I
Yeah.
was young and running around and enjoying my life, right? Even though, like, we had very little, but we enjoyed our lives, right? When you're young, you just smile and you play, right?
Yeah.
So I really went back and saw my old version of me. So it wasn't really a bad thing to do. Like, I just remembered. That's a good memory, right? But there was some
Very good
sadness.
memory. You can have good memories and
Yeah.
think, of course, that's lovely. As long as it brings you that memory brings you happiness
Yes. Yeah.
and
So
not.
they always have these while they're waiting for their lunch. There's always the coordinator always brings some nail polish, different colors, and the kids like to put them on. They wanted you to.
Mhm.
So I was putting it on some kids. They said, can I have this color?" I was putting. I remember me being like that. I used to love nail polish when I was little. So
Yeah.
I was just going
Yeah,
back
I
memory
used to
lane.
too.
Memory lane. So it was exciting for them to put on. And so what I was thinking when I was thinking all of those things is I had some sadness out of that, right? So I could have sat in that sadness rest of my day, but I came back. I pulled myself to now and here to be here right now. And before that, I had other meetings. And I also know that I have a purpose in life. So I have to continue on that purpose, right? But there was a lot of sadness when I did go to that, like that place, plus into my childhood, because I saw war, I saw death, I saw a lot of things in that time frame that it just reminded me and took me back into it. So sometimes we do go into good and bad memories, or traumatic memories, but we could just come back and we can continue to stay in it. I could have spent all day today. It went into a very deep, almost into depression, about it, right? But I was able to pull. I'm saying this because I have a purpose, right? The
Yeah,
purpose
and
is
I
really
think
important.
the biggest thing that you said was that you brought yourself back. It's okay to think about that and to
Yes.
go back and think about, especially, if there's something that's a happy time about that, and we think about the sad times too, but allowing yourself to visit it
Yes.
and then leave it,
Yes.
right? Visit it and leave it.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that that's really important what you
Yes.
just said.
So I just took the lesson. So that's what I always say, right? It doesn't matter. It's not like you're not allowed to visit the past. Even if you visit the past, how long do you remain in the past? And how long
Correct.
do you let those feelings take over you in the current state right now? If I let that take over, I couldn't be here. I would be crying right now, right? But I didn't do that because, again, I'm saying the word purpose. Purpose is so important for us, for our children, for our students, because when we know our purpose, we kind of, that's our guiding light, right? We kind of align
Exactly.
ourselves back to it. So take the lessons, come back here. And another thing that we do is the future. Did you do any type of future thinking today?
I did do some future thinking today, and it was really around my children, or my two boys. They're not really
Yes.
children, well, they'll always be my children, but around
Young
my
adults.
adult young
Yeah.
men boys.
Yes. You're
um,
young
I
adults.
I did do some thinking around that, and I think in part it had to do with some brainstorming that I was working on, especially for one,
Yes.
and because there was some questions around some schooling. And so I think I was kind of looking forward to that. But I addressed it,
Mm.
and I did not allow myself to stay there and permeate on it. Like, I didn't sit there and micro focus on it. I addressed it. We talked about it. We looked at the future, and then kind of I came back to the
Yeah.
present. And I think
That's
it's the same as kind of true with the present as going back to the past, right? You can
yes.
do that. You can have your goals. You can kind of have maybe some plans,
Yes.
knowing that, come back to the present, and also knowing that there's nothing that's permanent, right? So
No.
there can be change. Change is constant,
Yes.
and giving grace for that and understanding that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, same thing with the future, right? As long as it's intention, so you were like intentionally looking at the future, which is great. It's when we project the past and then we start looking at it, I don't, what if this happens, that happens, and I start worrying about all the stuff that I plan for the future not to happen because of the past experiences, then we have a wasting a lot of time and we're creating unnecessary anxiety
Yep.
when we can be here and now and be focused to take actions, right? So again, I did think about some in future too, like the word I selected for the year, right? I had a word that I always select, right, for the whole year of 2026. I'm like thinking about that and how I could reaching out to, because my thing was collaboration was the word for today. So I was
Mhm.
looking at, okay, what are the things that I need to do in order to achieve that, because I haven't really been focusing on that. So I just reminded myself and said, the future plans you have, the intentions you have, I think you need to get back to what you said at the beginning of the year, right? So it was kind of good to do it. But again, I brought myself back here and now. So what else do you do to bring yourself here and now besides talking and bringing it, aligning it and back to here? Because this is the only place we can do something about it. Otherwise, we're not learning and we're not living, we're not leading ourselves or others. So what do you do, Andrea, that brings you that centering? Do you have any exercises or any calming?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely do breathing
Yes.
exercises, and we went through a series of that the last time. And I think I definitely do that. I also do tapping at times,
Yes.
which I think brings me to the present, as well as I'll do some journaling too.
Yes.
Not all three at the same time, obviously.
No.
Um, but you can do like a little tapping exercise while you're
Do
doing
you
the
want to take us
breathing.
through one?
Yeah, yeah. So we're just gonna do tapping right here on our hand right here, and this just helps bring down the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is really important part of our parasympathetic nervous system, and that's kind of that rest and digest. So let's bring ourselves there. So if you just tap here, we're gonna breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and I'm gonna have you breathe out for 8. Okay. So here we go. Breathe in, hold, breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in, hold, Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. All right.
Thank you. Love it. Love it. So today we want to talk about, a lot of people think we are unmotivated, or I lack focus, I cannot bring my attention to something, right? So a lot of the time what we're doing is we're kind of labeling, or we're kind of talking about what's on the surface. We want to go beneath the surface and look at things, right? That's why I have Andrea with me today. So we want to talk about this. So why do you think focus is such a struggle for so many people right now, Andrea? What's your take on it?
Mm. Yeah, and that's a really good question and a heavy one, because I think there's a lot of heavy things happening for everybody in the world.
Yep.
I think we went from a state of not too long ago in the distant past of COVID having a very strong effect on the world, and regulation and focus and motivation and overwhelm. We came out of that and started to get somewhat regulated, I think. There's still we're still some, you know, issues and things still happening, but starting to get into the right
Rhythm.
flow. But
Yeah.
unfortunately now we're kind of back where there's just a lot again, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of financial difficulty right now. There's a lot of weight with that. There's a lot of weight with what's going to be happening in the world and what's happening with wars, and are my son or daughter going to have to be deployed off, and what's happening with the businesses, because there are financial struggles right now. So some businesses it's starting to affect businesses. And
Yes.
so I think that there's just a lot of weight out there that the human population has on their shoulders. And of course, when we as adults, as even parents, have it on our shoulders, our kids feel it. And right, and social media and our phones and all that do not help this feeling of this weight. So
Yes.
I think that, yeah, there's a lot of reason to not for people to feel unfocused and
Yes.
feel overwhelmed and challenged
Yeah.
right now.
And plus with information too, right? It's just overwhelming. There's just so much. I think also AI has brought in, like, for example, like, I'm not a big social media person. I go because I am on all social media. So I have to follow and see what's happening with my social channels for sure, right? Because I put a lot of content out. So I have to make sure people are commenting what they're commenting and making sure that everything is right.
Yeah.
So when I go there, sometimes I see these it looks like real news channels, like real reputable news feeds. It looks very much like a real news feed, but it's not. It's fake.
Yeah. Yeah,
Some of
it's
these
really
photos
tough right
are fake.
now to decipher
Yeah.
what's real and what's not. I actually just had this conversation earlier today with a group of women. We were talking about it, and it's very difficult to decipher.
Yes.
And and it's almost getting to the point where you used to be able to see details in the AI that were really specific and say, okay, well, that's clearly generated by
Yes. Now you can't even
AI.
tell.
But now you can't. Now there's a challenge out there that it's gotten so good that there are many times when you can't. And how do you know what's real and what's not real?
Yeah. And
It's
when there's an unrest, people are using those news to fabricate other newses that are false as well. So not
yeah,
only we have overload of information overload, I mean, that's already was existing. Now we have fake overload. Like,
It's
and now
true.
we have to look through and see, is this real or is this fake? So that's taxing on our mind, right? Like if you see
It's very
something, you can,
taxing. It's
yeah.
very
So,
taxing. And it
so
keeps
so
us in
much.
this high alert state
Yeah.
at all times.
Yes.
At all
And
times.
over the time, I find since COVID, people don't trust anyone anymore. Like that's why, people like us who serve from our heart and we are out there in this among the space, people starting to treat even good people cannot say which one is a good person and which one is the person who might be the scam or this who might be out to get something, right? People can't say it because it just so seems everyone like because of AI and what's happening, right? So we're getting into a world we haven't even started yet. We just
It's so,
started.
it's so true, though. I do have to share something. Somebody had sent a message to me through one of my social media platforms because I'll put things up, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, and and they had asked a question, and it was in regard to, um, you know, am I just trying to get money? And so my response was back to them was no, I'm here to help first and foremost. That's who I am, and that's my background, and that's who I've always been.
Yes.
And what made you think that that's what I was trying to do? And she responded, well, anytime I see somebody posting something on social media, I don't know if it's real, and I don't know if they're just trying to sell me something at all times. So I didn't know if maybe you were using coaching as a method to just make tons of money.
We do make money from coaching because we do have to live, right? That's part of
Yes,
our, that's what I do
but
for
that's
a
not the,
living.
the sole purpose of what I'm doing. So
That's
I
what I
said, no,
mean.
I'm
That's what I mean.
real, and I'm giving this stuff out. I create what I put out there. And yeah, no, it was just I got caught off guard there for a little bit. I was like,
But
oh,
that's
that's
because
interesting.
people have used social media for that. But that's what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, every human has to decide for them what's happening, right? Most of the time, scammers are pretty slick. They people fall for scammers, and then they only question the genuine ones most of the
I
time.
know.
Because
It was actually
they're very good at what they do, right?
I was
So they always
really caught
question
off
the real
guard.
authentic people, but they always fall for them. And then I have so many friends who've given into crypto and all these things, lost money in crypto and all of these things, and dating sites and all of that stuff, even including my personal friends. And but if it was with me or anything, they ask tons of questions, and I always think like, okay, like how did you not ask those tons of questions when you did that? Because you know why? Because they're so good.
That's
We get
why,
asked tons of
right?
questions,
We get
right?
asked
We're not that great at being the
no.
scammerish, right? So that's why it happened. So I'm okay answering, but to go back to your point about posting and people thinking that are you trying to make money, a lot of the time I'm in groups, parents are posting, I need help, I need help, I need help, right? So all of these are generic answers, right? All of these are generic answers. And reading generic answers drives you nuts, because at the end of the day, if there's 200 comments for some problem you're having with your child who has ADHD or something, and you have 200 different comments, there are 200 different views in there, perspectives in there. If I
It's
read that as a mother, I would actually go nuts. Wouldn't
yeah,
you?
I
It's
would
too much.
too. And I think that's probably why and not saying that's a bad thing, because a lot of people are reaching out for help, which I
I
think
know, but
is,
200,
always
300
admirable. But
comments, too
I
much.
couldn't, I never did, I think
But
I've
it's
mentioned
all
this before.
opinions. A lot of the time, it's opinions. It's like,
It
if that
is.
was my
Yeah.
child, I would do this. If my child was doing this, I would do this. You
Yeah.
should look at it like this. But then
It's
I,
scary.
it's scary. For me, that's scary. That part's
It's
scary, right?
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't deal with it. Like if I had a problem, putting out there like that would be, but if you got a coach like yourself, you're putting something saying I have a coaching program. And that's why in our program, the first step in our program, whoever is watching, is that we ask you to meet us. We don't say send us your credit card, give us your credit card through this, give it to me. We don't ask for a credit card. We say spend 30 minutes with us so that we can understand you, because we're not going to provide you generic answers. This is not a
Yeah,
generic.
and we do that. We do that first meeting for free. We are not even asking for a credit card. We're not asking for, we're just saying, let us get to know you. And by the way, let's make sure this is a good fit, right? Like this is what you need, the service that you need.
And
It's
by the way,
it's
scammers don't do that. Scammers would be saying,
no,
first thing is, okay, we got this going, great program, we got it all covered. You're going to make great money. Okay, so here's the form. Here's what you need to do. Here's where you put your credit card. Let's go. And then here's if you got your bank information, give me that too, and we're ready to go. And we're going to buy stock, or we're going to buy crypto, or whatever we're buying, and we're done. And then you
right.
don't see your money after that, right? That's not how our program works. So those of you who are listening, the first step with us is that we actually want to meet you in person, meaning online. We want to meet you. Without meeting you, we're not even going to, if you say no to that meeting, we don't even engage after that, because if we want to know you're real or not. Because
Correct.
sometimes we have people who are faking too. People who are faking, they could be a AI clone somebody, right? So
Yeah.
we could have
Yeah.
somebody doing a fake identity with us. So the first step is to meet, and that's going to be the world. And that's why I started this live too. This live is happening because I want everybody to know that you and I are real. We're not hiding. We haven't cloned each other with some AI. We're real. We're
Nope,
always
I'm
going to
here.
be real.
I'm real.
Yes.
It's me.
So we got it. We got
Drinking
it.
my water.
Yes. See, she's even drinking. Okay, let me see if you swallowed that. Okay, great. Okay, you are not
I
mission.
did.
You're not a
I'm
mission.
real.
Great.
I'm done.
So getting back to focus. So why are we not focused? Because of all these distractions, and then all these things are coming, and we are just getting started in the AI world. We're not even in it yet. We're just in the mid and in the beginning stages. So I'm just telling, I'm excited, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of things that are coming our way. That's going to be big changes, right? So let's go back to focus. Otherwise, I'll go into AI very quickly, right? So why do you think people are misunderstanding about what do you think they're misunderstanding about focus? What is the most misunderstood part about focus?
I think that people think that to focus means you have to persevere and push and keep going, and it will show that you're focused. It will show that you're able to do something and be focused in doing it. And it's a constant, I think, drive for many people. And I think that's to some degree, it's society. It's at least Western civilization, is this drive to, and focus will equal success and whatnot. And I think that, yeah,
It's mindset too, right?
it's
Mindset
mindset.
too. And
Yeah,
then people think like, okay, I'm just gonna have a mindset to get into focus today. Like it's almost like people think like I could just tell my brain and my system here that, you know what, you're gonna get into focus today, and you're focusing. Let's go focus now. It doesn't work like that.
it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like
No.
that. No.
Mm-mm.
So this
No, it
is why
doesn't.
we've been told by personal development world that just get into affirmations and get yourself into the state, and then just tell your mindset to be positive, and just say, we're getting to focus now. We're going to focus, get into focus.
Do you remember those? I have to say this. Do you remember? It just reminded me. I don't know if you remember these. They were really big back in the, I'm going to date myself here, in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And in even like the early 2000s, where anytime you went into an office of, I was at that time, I was in the business world. And you would go in and you would see these posters like success. And then it was like, this is how you obtain success. You try and you try harder and get up and try again, or perseverance, or
Resilience.
determination. I mean, it
Resilience.
was like, what was that?
Resilience. Be resilient.
Resilience. It was always these words with these like people climbing something or doing something really big. So when you were just talking about that, I got this vision in my head, because those posters would show up on these walls. You would see them and you'd be like, that's great. I'm reading it. My brain's thinking, okay, maybe it's motivational, but there's nothing else helping it inside of me. And by the way, it's not telling me actually how to get there. It's not saying a word. And
Those are all
so,
results.
yeah,
Resilience, becoming resilient
exactly.
is a result of something
Exactly.
else. Focus is a result of
Exactly.
something else. So there was all
Yeah.
these prerequisite to all of those things, and they miss all of that, and they say it
Yeah.
as you should just kind of somehow just leap into it, and then
Yeah. And I
you're
think,
stuck.
and I think humans in general, again, especially in the Western hemisphere, are almost conditioned to that
Yes,
growing up,
yes,
and versus allowing themselves to understand uh, all of their biological systems and how they're affecting them, and what might be blocking them, or how to get there to those results, right? It's amazing.
yeah. We so much of our parenting, so much of our school system is based on telling us the results of what we should be,
Exactly.
speaking to
Exactly.
us
You've
in
got
results.
exactly.
It's always been speaking to us in
Yeah.
results. And that's why you sit there going,
Yeah.
huh, they wanted me to be motivated. But nobody gave me anything about how to, but
Yeah.
I'm trying because they obviously I'm supposed to be motivated because they're saying I should be motivated. And if I
Yeah.
show anything less, they're saying you lack motivation, you're uninterested in this. Why are you lazy? So I'm trying to get to motivation, but I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. And then automatically, what do I say to myself? You must not be that great at this.
Hmm.
Obviously, everybody else is getting it. Why are you stuck in motivation? And then everybody else is doing the same thing too, but we don't know what they're talking into their brain. So I just assume that I'm not fit for I'm not a motivated person. I
Yeah.
must be lazy. I mean, obviously, everybody
Exactly.
gets it. My parents gets it. My teacher gets it. My whole school gets it. Why am I not able to motivate myself? Why do
Right.
I feel stuck? So,
Exactly.
but we speak in results all the time. We parent our kids with words that are result oriented.
All the time.
That's all the time.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts. Okay, so the focus is another word. Okay,
Yes.
so how do I get to focus? So let's talk about it, Andrea, a little bit behind the scene of focus. Like, what's the prerequisite? Let's just back off from focus. And what is the first prerequisite?
Well,
Of
I
course,
think the first prerequisite of focus is being in the present moment.
yeah, we
Because if
talked
you're
about
not
that.
in the present moment, you're not going to be able to focus. Your thoughts are going to be somewhere else. Then you're going to start analyzing this and worrying about that, and get yourself into a state of fight or flight, and not allowing yourself to have a parasympathetic nervous system, and then it just blows up from there. So
Yes,
present moment is
yes.
the biggest key factor to that.
Yes. And then how do we bring ourselves to the present? We just talked about it. It's basically one of the tools we have as coaches is we created in our methodology is talk to your brain.
Talk
Talk
to
to
your
your
brain.
brain. Don't allow your brain to take over. Your brain doesn't own you. You own it.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
control the stories
Yeah.
it's gonna narrate.
Yeah.
You gotta control it, right?
And
Yeah,
and
that's how you
everybody has the power to stop their thought process.
yes.
People, it's funny because I'll talk to other people, and they'll be like, well, I can't control this. I can't do, and you have the power with it. Everybody has the power. Everybody, um, everybody has that in them to stop, um, the micro focusing, to stop the worrying, to stop the overthinking, to stop going. All of us do. It just takes practice. It just takes practice. It's it's like something that it's like almost like a habit that you've got to start creating for yourself. And it doesn't come by just saying one time that's what you're going to do. It truly takes a lot of practice to do.
It's conscious
Yeah.
work. At the
Yeah.
beginning it's very conscious work because our neurological pathways are already like a super highways, right? So if you're going to want to change anything, those super highways are so fast, so you have to interrupt them first of all, and then you have to create a new path, and that new path right now looks like a forest that has no path at all. So
Correct.
obviously it's hard work. So at the beginning we're going to be wanting to use well, I already have a super highway, why am I thinking about going and creating a lane in the forest? I don't want to do that. That's too much work for our brain. So it wants to use the superhighway, but it's not resourceful, right? At some point, some of our pathways are not serving us. They're actually keeping us blocked.
Correct. Yeah.
So you need to slow those down and make that the overgrown path and create a new path. And that new
Yeah.
path takes some conscious work. And that's why being here and now and that breathing just allows you to keep stopping the brain from taking you over to the past or the future, and then bringing you back to here. That allows you to be present, to focus. Focus can
Yeah.
return. And then when focus returns, flow comes with it. And that's how we can be present continuously. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Andrea.
And there, there's different ways to do it. So some people will say, well, breathing is not for me to stop
Yeah, of
myself
course.
in my tracks. Some,
Yes.
there's all different ways. You could pick a song that
Yes.
you love, that resonates with you, that
Yes.
you put on your phone or whatever it might be, that just can help bring you back into that present moment. Maybe it's a 5-minute walk outside, right?
Yes.
Maybe it can be anything. It could be as easy as having a certain sticker, or I was going to try and find something here, but having a sticker or something on a piece of paper that is sitting right there that you can just pick up and just look at. It can be anything. It's just something that works for you, that stops you in your tracks almost from going
Yes.
in the direction with your thoughts
Yes.
that aren't going to be helpful.
Yes. And then when our nervous system responds to this stress, this overstimulation, over too much information, overloading information all around us nonstop, and then also because we grew up and we are growing up and continues to be in a world where everybody talks and results, and then leave you figuring out how to get there, right? It just seems like everybody knows, I just don't know, right? Kind of conversations we have with our brain. So when the nervous system starts going off against you, that's when you start saying, I can't focus, I can't focus, I can't focus. And then it becomes an identity, right? I'm not a person who can focus and get things done. I just procrastinate. Then comes the procrastination word, right? Because if you can't focus, things will pile up.
Yeah. And then it's something that you start to tell yourself over and over again. It becomes a recorded message that, like you said, you start to believe. And that's that can be very tough to get out of. And everyone can get out of it. It just, again, the becoming aware of it and aware of the recording that you've told yourself is super, obviously the first thing you need to do. That's
Yes.
how you know the recording's happening.
Yes.
And it will allow you to be able to reconnect with where the blocks or where the thought process might be coming from, right? Because we could have a mental block, we could have an emotional block, we could have a physical block. We can have different blocks in our lives. But as long as those blocks are there and we keep kind of resorting back to the amygdala, the fight or flight, it's we're not going to be able to stop ourselves in our track as much. But that's why I just say it could be, again, something very, very simple as
Yeah.
as as grabbing something, right? I
Mhm.
mean, an example is my son I gave him a sticky for his
Mhm.
computer. It can be as
Mhm.
simple as that. A sticky for your computer, right? Look at the
Yeah.
sticky and then ask yourself and stop yourself and if you have to write down what those thoughts are, write them down, right?
Yes.
The awareness is the first part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So when when we can focus, there's we just talked about one big word that comes out, which then turns into an identity loop, is procrastination, right? If I can't focus, because focus is so needed for so many things that we need to do, right? Without focus we can get things done.
Mhm.
So when focus is off, we are going to procrastinate. Along with it, it starts to become, and we feel like we're starting to fail, like
Right.
sometimes failure comes along. But there's two other words that comes when we can't focus, and then this is important, and they're not words, but they are things that happen. One of them is when you cannot, if you lose focus, you also going to lose your motivation and lack of motivation. And then something powerful shows up at the end of all of this is anxiety.
Yeah. And then it creates this fatigue loop as well. So you get anxiety and then stress and then fatigue and then blocked. It's like one big powerful loop.
Yes.
Um, and anxiety is where, again, I'm going to say, is where we kind of go into a lot of times that fight or flight mode, um, or even sometimes a freeze mode, right? Where when anxiety takes over. And so, yeah, it's all interconnected. It's basically a big web. And
That's why when parents come to us and they say, my child can't focus,
what? Sorry,
when a
parents come to
parent
us.
comes in and they say, my child cannot focus, right? They think it's a focus
They
problem,
think it's a
but
focus problem, and it's not.
it's
It's
so
not.
deep.
It's a system. It's a system problem,
It's
is
a
what it
bigger,
is. It's
yes.
much bigger, and so then it's why. Why is there a focus problem? And they'll say, well, um, you know, they can't focus on their homework because they're distracted by their phones, or they're distracted by this happening. And
Or they're
yes,
not
environment,
interested. Sometimes they
they're
even
maybe
say
not
they're
be
not
interested,
interested.
but
Yeah, they're just not
in an
interested.
environment in which they're trying to focus in could be a factor. But it really, there's something else going on the inside that's causing them not to focus, that's causing them not to be interested, that's causing them to want to be deterred somewhere else, right? Or procrastinate. And so it's getting to the bottom of those.
Yes. So we have two comments here. One, MC said, people to people connection, the world linger for authentic, true authentic connection. And that's why we do these shows, MC, because this live event is happening because of that, because there's no way that we can show people how real we are. As holistic neurogrowth success coach, this is the way to show all of you that we are real. All of us are real. And we're
Yeah.
not going to hide behind some post or some behind some AI generated content. We cannot do that. So we're here to talk to you in real time so that you can see we are real humans. And
Yeah.
we do live, we do have a life, we do have kids, we are living human being. So thank you, MC, for that. Yeah, we all need authentic connection. And then Tracy says that we see so much anxiety in schools. Yeah, anxiety is it can blind. It just becomes like a blind to focus. You cannot pass anxiety to like ask a child to focus when they're gone up to the anxiety point, right? It says force
Yeah. I
reset
mean,
to
there's only
sleep.
so much bandwidth, right? That so once we get in from that prefrontal cortex area to the amygdala, and the anxiety and is setting in, and we're just and it's not working. And so that focus, which would be happening in the prefrontal cortex, isn't able to sustain, right? There's no bandwidth for it
Yes,
whatsoever. And
yes.
so, in order to be able to get out, to be able to actually focus and do well in school, or do well in work, or be what you feel is good parenting, or not lashing out at your child and angry, or whatever that might be, the there has to be bandwidth for that. And if there is no bandwidth, it's not going to nothing's going to work. It's not going to be productive.
So let's show some ways that this can look like in real life with parents. Well, Tracy just shared with us about school. School children are having hard time focusing, sitting at their desk and doing their work. That's focus work is harder and harder for children to stay for a long time, and that is why everyone's saying humans have less than the goldfish attention span, right? Then goes to
Yeah.
the attention, right? Focus mean you have to pay attention, right? That's how
Yeah.
you can maintain focus. So then also in order to get both of those, you have to stay in the state of flow. Flow is the state of learning, and then we're not reaching there because none of our system is in alignment to reach to flow.
Right. Right.
It's
And
not regulated.
the same thing happens for parents and just for adults in general, right? So it could be that the parent is overwhelmed with things that are going on, and rather than being in the present moment and maybe tackling one thing at a time and allowing themselves to step back a little bit, they get
Yes.
overwhelmed, and then everything starts getting heightened, and then the anger comes out, and the why didn't you do this, and why aren't you doing that? I've asked you to do this a million times. And it's the same exact systems. It's the same exact um, situation as the student who's really struggling with anxiety, or who doesn't want to do the homework, or is acting out in class, and it's in school. And the same goes for an adult with working, maybe in the business world. Maybe they stop doing tasks, maybe they're not motivated, right? It comes out in so many different ways.
Some people even go to the extent of so many behavior shows up, right? At school level right now, distraction in this classroom, right? Like so many people if there are 26 kids and they're not regulated, we can't get everyone to focus at the same time, because if somebody's off, the rest of the classes also needs to be affected by that, right?
Yeah. And it does affect the rest of the class. It's like no different than if I were sitting here in a really bad mood talking to you. You would
Yes.
probably be affected by that, right? You'd pick up on that, and it might affect your mood as well. So it's the same idea. It's same idea with parents and children. When
Yes.
your child's, sitting there doing homework, or you're asking them to do a chore, or something's coming up, and if your system is struggling and not regulated, and there's blocks going on and not in flow, there's no way. It's very difficult for your child's system to be in flow and be regulated enough to sit and do their homework, or to do the chore that you ask them to do.
Yes. I
Yeah.
find with focus, I'm able to focus. I started this episode with you remember when I said that I went somewhere in the morning to serve, and when I came back, I started remembering my old life, my beginning life of
Yeah.
my stage, and then I could have been in there and felt sorry and sad and missing all the people that I've missed and the war and all that. But then I said I brought myself back to here because of my purpose. Remember the word purpose?
Yep.
Purpose helps to bring back focus. Purpose helps because that's your guiding light. So a lot of time I find now even young adults and even children too, as parents, we're not really helping them find their purpose.
Yeah. I think the challenge in it is if we have to, as parents, really make sure that we have a good foundation and understanding of our purpose
Yes.
before we're capable of helping our kids find theirs.
Yeah,
Um,
it's important. We have to
and
be the role model for sure. We have
yeah,
to
and I
model.
think that it can be really challenging, right? Because with so many different things going on, to show to actively show our children what our purpose is, it gets kind of put to the side, right?
Yes,
It's not something that we focus on, right? We focus more on them listening to us
yes,
versus really kind of them understanding us and understanding what's happening for us in our world. And not necessarily do they have to take on the responsibility of that, but understanding what our purpose is and showing them what that is,
yes,
rather
absolutely.
than just saying, because I'm your mom,
No,
or
that might have
because I
worked in
said
the
so.
Yeah, and that might have worked maybe 20 years ago or something, but
Yeah.
our newer generation of kids now, it's all, I think that the beautiful thing that we even do in our coaching is always co-create, right?
Yeah.
Co-creation, like model it with them, bring it together with them and talking to them and bringing that out. But
Mhm.
discovering their purpose, you can help them discover it, but let them discover it and come up with it and say, and have those conversation around purpose is so important because purpose always brings back focus.
Yeah, and having them even sitting down and having that conversation, but having them, what's the term I'm looking for? Like actually brainstorm with you on that
Yes.
is
Yeah,
really, really
co-create.
important. Having the input
Yes.
from them or you know, whoever it may be, having the input from them and having that
Yes.
communication is really, really important because it gives everyone in the discussion ownership of
Yes.
of the outcome. So
And how does it look in adults when focus is not there? How does it look in adults? I find that in adults that I work with, and I know that you start a lot of things, and then it's almost like you have so many things started. It's just like having so many tabs open on your computer. Like I have some open, but I've see some people have like hundreds of them open. And you know what it does to the computer, right? It just kind of sucks the computer speed down. Think
yeah,
of your brain the same way. All the things
yeah,
that you got it going in your brain, and
yeah,
then you've not completed any one of them because you can't focus long enough to get it. Now your brain's so scattered. I mean, that's
yeah,
how adults, a lot of adults are trying to live right now, right?
yeah, completely overstimulated and overwhelmed. And it goes back to that word that I was using earlier too, bandwidth.
Yeah.
There's only so much bandwidth that the computer has. And
Yes.
if you used it all up, what happens then? What happens next?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
irritation. I know what happens, irritation.
Yeah, irritation and anger
Short,
and
short,
and
I'm so short.
yeah,
Don't test
short
my patience.
tempers and this isn't working and so yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
focus.
here's the thing. At the end of the day, in the middle of the day, whenever it is, it's okay to close all the tabs. It's okay to close them all. It's okay for silence. It's okay to take moments where
Yes,
there's nothing at all. Nothing. There's
yes.
there's no tabs open. There's nothing running through your brain. It's absolutely okay. And we don't as humans do enough of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because we're told we have to finish everything and we're told that we have to be productive. And if I can't focus, I've never been productive all day long. So I have to beat myself until the morning to say how unproductive I was all day and
yep,
crappy how I have to feel now because I
yep.
was so unmotivated to do any of them. And you're telling me to close the tab. I don't know how to even do that. I just have to stay up all night beating myself to next day get up and be even more frustrated because I
But
didn't
at
even
the
get a
end of the
proper
day,
sleep.
you're at the end of the day, that's not going to create what was what were the words that were on that poster of success, right?
Yes,
That's not going to create that.
yes. And tomorrow
That's
morning I'm
just
going
going
to
to
be
be
more
pushing and
cranky.
pushing and pushing more,
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be more cranky because I didn't even have a restful night.
right?
I just was worrying all night and telling myself how crappy I am all night, and then wake up next morning. I can't focus. Still can't focus.
Yeah, your
Worse.
sleep's going to be disrupted. There's going to be so much that is not productive. And here's the thing, though, I don't think that a lot of people step back to see that and to understand that there's a direct relation to being productive and um, really calming the nervous system down and not overstimulating and not putting yourself into um, you know the crazy fight or flight freeze, all of that. There's so much. I don't think a lot of people realize that because again, we have been conditioned to push and push and push until we um, conquer. And at some point, your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, all of it is going to crash if you keep doing it.
So we talked about a little bit, but let's just say this. I want to ask this question, and you can answer it. What are people doing right now that actually making their focus worse, even though they think it's helping? What do you think?
I think the phone. I think computers. I think technology. I think that's a big, big problem, right? There's a lot of, it was really funny because when I was looking into, so I have a son that has been diagnosed with ADHD. And when I was looking into, mechanisms to help him with his focus, because his is really not the hyperactivity, it's more the focus. So it's
Mm-hmm.
more ADHD. And I was looking into things, and there were so many different areas that were saying, well, put, upload this app and it's going to help him have more focus. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no, that's not how that works. That's going to continue to overstimulate his brain. And so the problem is we've got so much coming in at us. And there's something to say too, that people who live in really big cities, that can be overstimulating, right?
Yes.
That can be a challenge. So I think what people are doing, I really think technology is kind of wonderful on one hand and the arch nemesis on another hand
Of course. Of course.
for what's
And then if
happening.
you can't focus and you have an app that's telling you to focus, it doesn't start with an app. That's why I always say, like, the tools are
No
perfectly
apps.
fine. There's nothing wrong with the tools, and the strategies are always great. You can have the world's best strategy and world's best tool, but if this system is blocked and you apply any of those, it's not going to work. And I'm going to blame the tool and I'm going to blame the strategy as if it didn't work. But it's not.
Correct.
It's just I'm blocked. So what is the reason for you to not to be able to focus, right? So let's look at why are you not able to focus, not how are you going to focus, because
Yeah, and
apps
I
are
I
going to help us
also
how to focus, not why you're not focusing.
I know it's true. I also think that we are a society of quick fixes. And
Yes.
so and so a lot of these apps and a lot of things that you find are just do this and it will you'll be cured. We'll take care of this. This is going to help you. This is what you need. And we always want to, as a society, buy our way out. And I say that it doesn't have to necessarily mean monetarily, but buy our way with the fix, right? What's going to magically work if we snap like that? And so I think and I keep looking at my phone, what these
You're not
apps
focused
do.
in my conversation. You're looking at the phone.
I'm not looking at
Am
my
I
phone.
not
I'm
that
looking at to hold
interested?
it up. I know. So
You're not interested
what
in
the
this conversation?
I totally am. What the I know it's funny. I'm looking at my phone to use it as an example. I have nothing
Okay,
except from this beautiful picture of my dog on there.
I
Um,
see.
so because I think what happens with these apps is if you just do this, this is going to cure all your problems, right? Or if you just follow this, or the advertisements you get, especially like if you see them on um, social media, right? These just do this for 5 minutes and it will be
Oh yeah, it's a new
okay.
advertisement scheme right now where it's like, yeah, just do this every day for 5 minutes and you'll be perfect.
You'll be
I wish I
perfect.
could. Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
perfect.
I
Yes,
mean,
you'll
that
be
would be
perfect.
wonderful if that maybe existed, but it doesn't exist and it's
It
not
doesn't
going to
work. I
exist.
can do 5 minutes. It won't work. After 2 days of doing
It's
it, I'm gonna
not
feel like,
going to work. It's
yeah.
just it's gonna cover things up and it's not doing the deep work and the nervous system
Well, there's
work and
something
the
else with the 5 minute thing is consistency. When you're blocked, when your systems are blocked, try being consistent with something. You won't be.
oh, you won't be.
You'll do
No,
it for 2 days or 3 days and you'll be falling off of it. And then you're saying, oh, now I'm not even consistent anymore. Not only I can't
no.
focus, I'm not also consistent. So forget it.
There's
Total
no
failure.
way to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
it's
It's YouTube where I
challenging,
hear that
right?
ad. No, it's on YouTube where I hear it. It's for a couple of things they put it where they say just do this for 5 minutes. That's it. Your life is
Yeah,
going to change. Your life is
yeah,
going to change. I mean, I wish this biological system is that simple.
yeah. Wouldn't
We're
it be?
not.
It would be nice. It would be great, but that's not how we're built.
Yeah,
We're
this is a
not. We're very
complicated
complex.
system right here. These are complicated systems. They don't just
Very
work with
complex.
5 minutes quick hacks. I wish I
That's
can give you those,
correct.
but they're not. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah,
So scattered, right? This the most important thing I see too is how much scattered we are in like trying to multitask. A lot of people think I can multitask and that's how I can focus more, and having all these tabs open, like I'm productive. A lot of people think if I have more tabs open I'm being more productive, but all of this, again, some people it might work. I'm never going to say it won't, but majority of the people it's scattered. The focus is
yeah,
scattered. So focus has to be just like any focus, right? Focal point even means that bringing everything to one point is what focal
yeah,
means. So
yeah,
if you are scattered everywhere, focus is also scattered. So
yeah.
that's
No,
another way to tell.
yeah. Um, Again, this goes, and I think you did a really good analogy with your open tabs, right? And um, there's only so much that our brains can process at one time, right? And sometimes, like I said, taking it back to just focusing on one thing, and then maybe getting that down, and then adding something else in, right? Kind of this idea of, we talk about it as stacking, but that can be very beneficial as well.
But
Um,
first, most, don't you agree that first of all, when your mind started scattering and when you become out of focus, first step is to see why is the what where why is the system stressed? Because only when the
yeah,
system is stressed, then everything starts scattering and I become distracted. I don't have a focal point, and then again we can go back to the purpose. I might even be lacking a purpose, right? But first we have to get back to the signal from the body that something's going on. So let's
yeah,
check the systems, this biological system first, right? So that
yeah.
would
We
be,
need to become aware of what's happening and why it might be happening. That
yeah.
is really the
So
the first step
that's
in
why
in
it's
the
not a 5 minute
process.
fix. It's
There's no
not a
5 minute
5 minute
fix.
fix. So you got to slow down, right? And start noticing this body, honoring this body, and listening to this body, listening to your heart, listening to your brain. What are they telling you is so important before you think it's just a 5 minute hack that's going to make you back to focus again, right? So
Yeah,
today, Andrea, thank you for sharing. Today wasn't really about fixing your focus because that's where everybody begins, every coaching program, by fixing you or fixing some behavior that you have or some problem you're going through. Our program doesn't start with fixing. We
no,
don't want to fix anybody. Nobody needs to be fixed. First
no.
of
Our
all,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
our brains are, all of our brains are pure and at their core essence pure and happy. Our mindsets, it's it's getting back to that, and it's not necessarily fixing the brain, it's not fixing our nervous system, it's not fixing anything. It's getting back to the core of who we are in our purest existence. And I know that sounds very, I don't know, that's a, I don't know, kind of wooby jooby, but that's really
Science. It's
kind of
actually
the
science.
idea behind
It's
it.
actually, there's a lot of science to it. It's actually
Yeah,
neurologically based, what you just said, because if you're neurologically firing in different directions and all of it's not resourceful and keeping you so scattered, yeah, at the biological level, you're not being productive. Your energy is spent and wasted. If you go back to it, if we're all form of energy, like if we're spending it and wasting it in so much, I cannot get it to focus to what I actually need my energy to be dedicated
exactly,
to, devoted to. So that
exactly.
is actually biological. So
Yeah,
some
no,
people might say
exactly.
that's woo woo or whatever, but it's not. If you go to the deep of the biological system, we need to conserve energy and we need to put our focus, our energy into the focus as well. Not just my mind, but my energy has to go there as well, so that
Yes.
it can then
Yeah.
have the the momentum, because without energy, I won't have momentum. My mind can think everything it wants, but if I don't focus the energy to it, then we have the momentum, then I can get stuff done. Then I will have output, then I'll have performance. So all ties to biology, right? And psychology and neurologically, it's all there. So today wasn't about fixing your focus. Today was about understanding it. I want you to understand what's happening in here. Like, come home over here and listen to what this body is asking for, because we forget this body and we want everything to come to us in these 5 minutes little hacks, and that's not going to work for us. So understanding it was the most important thing we want you to get today. And because when you understand that your focus is not broken, you stop fighting it, right? Because when we think we're broken, we always want to fix ourselves, don't we? We're always about, what can I do to fix this? But just understanding gives you compassion. It gives you time to think about it. It brings that awareness back to who you are. And then that's where everything begins.
Yeah, I think it's really important I know we're out of time, but it's really important to note that you have everything inside of you that you need.
Yes.
To get to the point of being focused and allowing yourself, the grace to know that it's in you already. Yes. It's just a matter of getting back to it.
Yes. So understand that your focus is not broken. So then you stop fighting it. And when you stop fighting yourself, then your system can finally begin to settle. Cool. And from that place, right? From that place is where you're going to find clarity. And then from clarity, you'll then move forward. So you don't build focus. We don't build focus by forcing the mind. We restore focus by supporting the system that holds it, right? So we do not build focus by forcing the mind. You restore focus by supporting the system. Your body is full of systems, right? That holds it. So you have to go back to your body to understand it deeply.
100%.
Yes. And we offer free meetings. We're real people. So book a call with us and see how we can help you to focus. Yeah, Coach Andrea can help you as well. She works with adults. So if you're an adult watching this and you're like, I'm just have a pile of stuff piling up over there. I'm so scattered than ever before. I just can't focus. I just can't get myself to do something. Just reach out to her, and her information's here. She's on all socials, like she said, and book a free meeting, because don't sign up anything without meeting the person.
Correct. Yes.
And
make sure they're a real person too. Make them do something funny that would make it so they're a real person.
Drink water or something, then make them see them swallow. Yeah. So it actually is not a machine. So we're joking, but it's real though. It's important to meet, and it's not we're saying come and meet me in person. You're coming online, so you're still safe, right? It's just an online meeting. So meet people and get to know people, form through true, authentic, I can't say the word, authentic connections like MC recommended, because those authentic connections are important right now, more than ever.
Very important.
So please do that. Thank you so much. And we're here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Coach Andrea, for being here.
Thank you, Kohela. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.